Joining us from Fox News anchor Bret Baier. And Bret, welcome to Houston's Morning News. Let's start with Texas Governor Rick Perry. Bret, your thoughts on the early stage of his campaign?
Obviously, he's making a big impact, and he's changed the dynamic dramatically in Iowa. And you know well from the governor's running in Texas that he's comfortable on the campaign trail and that he is comfortable in his skin and seems to embrace campaigning, and that's really what Iowa retail politics is about. Now, over that time, he's had a statement about Fed Chair Ben Bernanke,
right,
which raised a lot of eyebrows, saying that printing money during this time would be treasonous and that you would treat him pretty ugly down there in Texas. You know, that probably didn't sit well with folks, the establishment folks at least in the Republican Party, and how much an impact that has, I don't know. But that's the one vulnerability, I think, for Governor Perry is sometimes, he is so comfortable in the campaigning that he talks freely, and sometimes that leads to some statements that maybe do raise some eyebrows, and whether that affects him negatively or not, we'll have to see.
Right, and I think that it is early for him campaigning on a national stage, something he's not done before. He's used to campaigning here in the state of Texas, where those kinds of comments are well received. But on a national stage, he might have to learn to temper his comments just a little bit. Although, Bret, I don't disagree with him.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's definitely some feelings about the Fed and about printing money, and obviously Ron Paul has tapped into that feeling as well. But to say it was a treasonous act, or to say that you all would treat him pretty ugly, and I know that's a statement that has a lot of different meanings to a lot of different folks.
Right.
So, you could read that different ways. And in political circles, that probably today will get a lot of coverage. And whether that is a little speed bump for him or not, we'll have to see.
Bret, you got a front row seat, and a lot of us watching that debate also got to see the reaction from all of the candidates. But people want to see someone who can come out there and be a formidable opponent to Obama. Did you see anybody who had those chops, or is that where Rick Perry is going to fit in?
That's a great question. I think, there are supporters of Michelle Bachmann will tell you that, she's down the line. She stands by her principles, and her voting record in Congress backs that up. Ron Paul's supporters will say that, he's been talking like this for decades, but finally getting the attention of more than just a small group of folks. And, Mitt Romney will say that he's the adult in the race and that he can be the one who can really go after President Obama on a business front. I think Governor Perry offers more of a visceral kind of reaction and taps into, much like Congresswoman Bachmann has tapped into, the anger of the situation that the country's in, and could capitalize on that pretty quickly. If he doesn't have stumbles along the way, he's somebody that a lot of people are looking at.
We're talking with Bret Baier, Fox News anchor. And Bret, I'm hearing rumblings that Congressman Paul Ryan or maybe Chris Christie may still get into this race.
Yeah, I have. And I've talked to a lot of people, and it's still a real possibility. The media often gets accused of looking for the next shiny thing, to cover. But this is real. From everything that the folks I've talked to, the people in their circles, they are strongly considering. And I think more Congressman Ryan than Governor Christie, but I've heard both. And that would, again, be a major shakeup. There will eventually be a point at which candidates will have to fish or cut bait,
right,
because the filing deadlines come up.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of them are at the end of October. Some people are saying it's the end of November.
Bret, I've got to ask you, there's so much polarization in this country, and people seem frustrated with what's gone on between the White House and Congress, and yet as we're dividing up, looking to who's going to be president, it seems that some of those polarizing qualities are surfacing. Is that how we're going to end up voting?
That's a great question. I think this is going to be a really tough race for President Obama, and he is on the strategy, I believe, of running against Congress, of saying, listen, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, but I've been stopped by Congress. And for them, it's a fairly effective campaign strategy because despite the fact that his poll numbers are down roughly around 40%, 39%, Congress is at 10%. So, they'll point to the fact that Republicans are not willing to negotiate, and they'll say that Congress is holding him back. Whether people buy that or not is really the question. But we could be in for a very close split race.
And Bret, final question for us here today. And again, thanks for taking the time for joining us.
Sure.
Krauthammer, is he as funny in person as he appears to be on television?
You know what? Charles is hilarious. He really is hilarious. He's got that dry sense of humor. And in the commercial breaks, I mean, he has us in stitches. He does say some amazing things. He's also brilliant.
I got to believe that, and I've said that before. I've said that to folks. I said, you know what? If you get this guy, you turn the cameras off, I'll bet he's got people rolling in the aisles.
Oh, definitely. He says some very dry things that just crack everybody up.
Listen, it has been a pleasure. You do a fantastic job. Always enjoy watching you on Special Report. You do a terrific job, a great job with the debate, and we look forward to having you back when you get the time.
I'd be happy to come back anytime.
Bret Baier, Fox News anchor, joining us here this morning, giving us his perspective of the candidates and the landscape and the things that are going on. Always good to talk to Bret.